From the Mount Washington Radio Group Online Newsroom, I'm Gare McKenzie. The Emergency Management Director for Conway Fire Chief Steve Solomon, says River Street in East Conway is closed indefinitely after severe damage caused by last week's flooding. Solomon says rain and snowmelt caused the road to flood Wednesday morning, and after the water receded Thursday morning, an initial assessment determined there was significant damage, but cars could still drive down the center of the road in a single lane. Barricades were later put back in place after it was determined the water had washed out a culvert that had either become blocked or failed for some other reason, making the road unsafe to drive on at all. The chief says temporary solutions to reopen the road are being looked at, with the ultimate goal to replace the 4-foot diameter corrugated steel culvert with one made of concrete. The current damage could be as high as $300,000. The road's a popular connector over the Saco River between East Conway and Fryeburg, Maine. The chief says the road could be closed from weeks to months. He says it's a great example of why the town does not let people drive through flooded roads.
With the water over that road, you could not have seen the fact that the road was collapsed underneath it, and if you tried to drive through it and hit that hole, you could have been seriously injured or killed. When we had West Side Road closed and we had River Street closed, we had numerous people moving barricades we put out to drive through the flooded water. They're taking their lives in their own hands when they do that. We don't have enough police officers to man these barricades whenever those roads are closed due to flooding. We put the barricades up. You could not have driven around them. You had to actually get out of your car and move them, and yet people still did that.
Solomon says the flooding caused damage in other areas of the state, and it's hoped Governor Maggie Hassan will petition the federal government for a disaster declaration. It could bring federal dollars for repairs. A spokesman for the governor says emergency management officials are working with local officials to assess if the threshold has been met to qualify for a declaration. Conway Town Manager Earl Sire says the town will pursue FEMA funding if possible. He says he'll brief Conway selectmen this afternoon on possible repair options for the road. The New Hampshire Department of Transportation will hold a public meeting in Tamworth tonight to discuss an upcoming project about the Route 113 bridge over the Bear Camp River in Tamworth. DOT spokesman Bill Boynton says the bridge is on the state's red list, meaning it requires inspection twice a year due to, quote, known deficiencies, poor conditions, weight restrictions, or type of construction. He says tonight's meeting will present citizens and public officials with information about the proposed project and solicit input to ensure the project meets public transportation needs, community goals, and protects and enhances the environment. The meeting will be held at the Tamworth Townhouse, 27 Cleveland Hill Road in Tamworth. Doors open at 6:30 with a formal presentation starting at 7 o'clock. In Maine news, Mainers are celebrating Earth Day with events ranging from a search for invasive insects to a candidate for governor announcing his energy policy. In one of the events today, state agencies are partnering with the town of Yarmouth to survey its ash trees for invasive emerald ash borers. Gubernatorial candidate Mike Michaud will also announce his plan to cut heating costs and limit pollution he says causes global warming. State agencies also say they'll announce funding stemming from USDA rural development that could be used in preserving a river. In sports, lefty pitcher Jeff Locke had a good outing in Indianapolis last night as his team got an 11th inning 6-5 walk-off win over the Louisville Bats. Locke did not factor into the decision, but he allowed just 2 earned runs and struck out 5 batters over 6 innings. The Baltimore Orioles beat the Boston Red Sox 7-6 yesterday at Fenway. The Yankees come to Fenway today. And Boston Marathon survivor Mark Fucaril threw out the ceremonial first pitch before the Red Sox traditional Patriots Day game. He walked with a prosthetic and a cane to the mound before the game, and of course the Boston Marathon went off very successfully yesterday in Boston. In the weather, mostly cloudy with a chance of showers today, highs in the mid to upper 60s. Light winds becoming south around 10 miles per hour with gusts up to 20 this afternoon. Showers likely tonight with lows in the lower to mid 40s. South winds around 10 miles per hour in the evening becoming light. And mostly cloudy in the morning Wednesday, then becoming partly sunny. A chance of showers, highs in the lower 50s. From the Mount Washington Radio Group Online Newsroom, I'm Gare McKenzie.